let's talk about racism for a second, real quick. When the Mexicans come over here, what happens is they get into positions of power and then only hire Mexicans. When the Somalians come over here and they do their fraud healthcare schemes, they only hire Somalians and they only serve Somalian children. When the Chinese come over here, they create something called Chinatown. Okay? So racism exists. Everyone's fucking racist. It's about time you realize that. Everyone has an in-group preference, except for, of course, the one group who's not allowed to have an in-group preference. The actual original citizens of the West. So we're trying to write a prompt here today. Let's see. Okay. A black man cowboy. Now you're not allowed to say ex-slave probably. That'll probably be censored. We'll try. Ex-slave. Now free. Let's say, we'll make him Irish. Irish cowboy and a American Indian. American Indian standing side by side up above their heads is the title America First and only Mafo first in gets what first in first and period. Okay. So basically we have the premise, the idea is, instead of what the Republicans and Democrats have both been doing for the past 50 years since pre-Reagan, which is the Great Replacement, not a conspiracy theory, but just what both parties have been engaged in the past 50 years, instead of doing that, what we should do is America First and only. MAFO. Not Israel first, America first. First in, first. Period. What does that mean? Well, what are the first three groups of people to take part in building America? These are the first three groups. Like it or not, read off into the abyss all you want. The white man colonizer, the original savage, and the ex-slave bounty hunter. These are the three first original badasses who built this country, and these are the ones who should take priority. Their descendants. This is the original inhabitants of America. And if you want to really re-off into that abyss hard, skeletal remains of Caucasians in Florida were found, dating back over 100,000 years. So it might have been these three the whole time, bitches. Then the Asians came over, and then the white man brought a slave, but then he freed his slave, and they became brothers. First in, first. How is that hard to understand? Because what happens is, they tell you, even though sometimes people get away with it, in group preference, they tell the black man, oh, you're not allowed to hire just based off race. They tell the Indian, well, stay on your reservation. And then they tell the white man, you're not allowed to hire just based off race. You have to, religion, 1964, 1965 Civil Rights Act, throw that fucking shit in the garbage. The second constitution, we don't need another fucking constitution to the fucking country. Everyone should have the freedom of association. And guess what? Functionally, the only group who doesn't have the freedom of association right now is this group and maybe this group. Because when the Mexicans come over and then become the managers of places, I've seen it with my own eyes, they only hire Mexicans. When the Koreans come over, they only hire Koreans. When the Chinese come over, they literally create something called Chinatown. When every other group comes over, when the Somalians come over, they literally do fraud, and they only hire their own buddies for the fraud, and they only take care of their own kids. So they're not being held to the same fucking laws. It's a two-tier 1965 Civil Rights Act. Throw the fucking thing in the garbage or apply it equally. I went to Chipotle the other year for an interview. There were only Mexicans and one black man working there. And he was like half black, half, I should say they're Hispanics, right? They only hire their own kind. But we have to be the better man. We fucking built the West. These three savages are the ones who fucking built the West. And you're driving them into unemployment. So you're superior, better, harder working, cheaper slaves can only hire their own. Fuck you. It's about time we reclaim the West from this managerial class. Legally and by force, if necessary. Just like the Constitution literally says we are allowed to. Literally, in the Constitution, it says legally and by force. And that's legal. It explains it. It lays it all out. It tells you exactly why the Second Amendment exists. What about the military? The military? It's on our fucking side. We just need one president like Trump, but better, not bought out by Israel. The little goblins, once giants, now tiny, Hint, hint, you know what I'm talking about. The Nephilim. We need to take back our homeland legally, peacefully, and by force. Legally. Fuck you, bitches. Freedom ain't free.